So Rockstar has officially announced their next update, and there isn't a lot we know just yet about the update that's to come, but I do already have a wish list of things that I would like to see, and also, hello there. So yeah, I decided to experiment a bit with this video and try out a new way of making it, basically, which I guess you can already tell what this is going to be like. I'm taking some inspiration from some other creators here on the site. But anyway, I thought this would spice it up a bit, and it would also help me to express how I'm feeling when I'm saying certain things. But anyway, that's enough of that. Now, I also understand that with GTA 6 on the way, Rockstar is mostly just focusing on stuff like bug fixes or making new missions. But I do have some things that I would really like to see before this game ends, and I'm going to be talking about some of those in this video in particular. Let's go ahead and get into the first thing, which I think this is the first one to mention since we do know this about the update. I want to see the new interior for the garment factory, whatever that might be. I want to see it in free mode. I don't know how this is going to work. Like, maybe they'll just be taking the original interior and like adding and removing some props. Maybe they'll be throwing it out and just basically putting a new interior in its place, trying to like fit it where the old one was. Or maybe they're going to do none of that and just put the interior under the map like they always do. I really hope it's not the latter, because we've seen Rockstar add, or I should say re-add, an old interior to the game. We saw this with Simeon's dealership. They re-added that interior into GTA Online and they gave it a new purpose. They actually let us test drive and even buy vehicles there. And I think it would be a big missed opportunity if Rockstar didn't do this with the old interior of Lester's factory. I think this would be really cool and would also save us the hassle of having to go through another load screen. For our next segment, I want to talk about HSW upgrades and how I think Rockstar has completely missed the mark on which vehicles should get these upgrades. This is the Banshee. The Banshee used to be a top contender in the sports class, but as the game got bigger and faster cars started getting introduced, the Banshee got completely outclassed. But with the introduction of HSW upgrades on the PS5 and the Xbox Series, the Banshee became relevant again. HSWs were able to make this car not just faster, but able to more or less compete with cars that were released a couple updates ago. But then Rockstar introduced cars like the Niobe and the La Cruz, which even without upgrades are very, very competitive. With HSW upgrades, they just completely dominate. Like, you know, older cars, like even the Banshee with upgrades, are just not relevant anymore. And I think that's completely backwards. I think more of these older cars should be the ones getting these upgrades because they need them. New cars are going to be fast. It's the older cars that were competitive at one point that need these HSW upgrades to stay competitive. Just to show how drastic the difference is, I recorded some times on a very short track. The track was less than a mile long, and as you can see, the Banshee just struggles to keep up the pace of the La Cruz and the Niobe. The Banshee has very terrible handling. The Niobe and the La Cruz both have really good handling, and they have higher top speeds. Except maybe the La Cruz doesn't have the higher top speed, but the acceleration alone completely outpaces most modern sports cars in GTA. It's just frustrating because there's tons of cars out there that don't have very good performance that would honestly have benefited a lot more from these kinds of upgrades. To put this into even more perspective, the Krieger, which before HSW was added was the best lap time amongst supercars, is now outpaced by some sports cars like the Niobe. It's really crazy that a sports car or an electric sports rally car like the La Cruz outpaces a top of the class supercar. Rockstar, why do these cars have HSW upgrades, but older supercars like the Bullet don't? Or the Adder? Like, why do these new cars get upgrades? Come on, give us some HSW upgrades for old cars, please. This next part, let's talk about specialty vehicles. So, we've gotten a lot of vehicles that were released after updates where they were first introduced. So, for example, we got the Greenwood in an update that was long after the agency. We got tons of other Amani Tech vehicles as well. We got new Benny's vehicles, like the Gauntlet Custom, that were released way, way after Lowriders. The Chop Shop update introduced drift tunes to select vehicles. And then with this recent update, we got 3 more drift cars. So drift tuning is now a thing, and we're getting cars after that update that will also have drift tuning. And we can look forward to more in the future, I'm betting. Unfortunately, there's a whole category of vehicles that has not gotten any more cars in its category, despite being a really fun and interesting category of vehicles, and that's arena contenders. Ever since the Arena War update flopped, Rockstar just have not added any new arena contenders, and I think that's another big missed opportunity because these vehicles are incredibly fun. If they weren't so expensive, I feel like everyone would have at least a few of these. Don't believe me that they're fun? Watch this shit. Now, just to clarify, it doesn't have to be specifically arena vehicles. I just listed this category because this is probably the most egregious example of a whole category of vehicles being neglected since its release. Honestly, I just want to see more new, interesting vehicles in these kinds of categories. We've gotten new cop cars, we've gotten new Benny's vehicles, we've gotten new jets, new helis, new weaponized, like ground vehicles. We've got all these other interesting vehicles, and I think maybe some attention to lesser known categories would make this interesting. And speaking of the arena, the Arena War game modes are all but forgotten by most GTA players, and that's for a really unfortunate reason. The payout of any of these game modes is just crap. You don't really get a lot for it. The AP system that exists in this mode is such a grind compared to other similar systems. You would have a much easier time completing bunker research or tuner rep if you wanted to grind something. The arena just takes so long just to get a little bit of AP. I think this needs to be fixed, and I think an easy way Rockstar could fix this would be to add missions to be able to unlock it over time. Kind of like how with a nightclub, if you keep the popularity up, you can get money. I think if you were to do something similar for the arena, it should be a good way to get arena points or to progress through the arena career. There just needs to be some other way to grind AP than these modes because these modes pay out like crap. Either that or just flat out increase the amount of AP that it gives you. I don't really care as much about the money as much as I do the arena points payout. If it was at least easier to level up through the arena and get the rewards from it, I think that would be completely fair. What if I told you that out of the possibly hundreds of weapons that have been added to the game, only 12 of them, some of these that were already pretty decent, have Mark II upgrades? Now, I think that's ridiculous. I think some of these weapons that have Mark II upgrades were already good weapons. And I think what Rockstar needs to do is they need to use these Mark II upgrades to make some really bad weapons better. I'm going to showcase a few weapons that are already like really crappy, and I think with Mark II upgrades, they could be given some extra utility. Like some of these shotguns would be really useful if they had, say, explosive slugs or dragon's breath rounds. The bolt action sniper, the precision rifle, could have explosive rounds or it could have like armor piercing or FMJ or like anything that would have made them more useful. These assault rifles, like the battle rifle, could have been made better by having like literally any of the Mark II upgrades. Even if it's just customization, it would have at least made them somewhat unique. Why is it that when Rockstar adds these really terrible weapons to the game, these just get forgotten about within the next few updates? But then when they add really good weapons, these good weapons are, well, because they're already such good weapons, I guess they think, oh, people will like having Mark II upgrades. No, no. I think I speak for everyone when I say that when Rockstar adds a new weapon, like make it good for something. If it's not good for anything unique, they should at least add Mark II upgrades so that it's on par with some of the better weapons. GTA has a lot of clothing. I mean, like in clothing alone, GTA probably has the most customization of any game apart from Saints Row 2. So why am I including this segment? Well, it's because some of these clothing items are just not compatible when they honestly should be. In this example, I'll be showing you some vests that would be able to go with certain tops. We've seen them with these, we've seen them combined before, but for some reason, Rockstar just doesn't let us do it normally. There's also tons of tops that do go with some of these vests that you can combine, but have a ton of clipping issues. And like, it's that lack of consistency where they're either too restrictive with some items, like with these outfits from the heist updates, or they just let us combine things that really should not go together. I just gotta wonder what Rockstar is thinking when they allow some of these combinations but restrict others. So I guess if I had to sum this segment down into something, it would to just let us combine these, like just remove some of these restrictions. I would love to be able to combine some of these vests with like certain hoodies or certain blouses or certain button downs. I would love to be able to, switch some of these tops or vests that have the pockets on them. I think other vests that are the same or similar models should have no issues being changed while keeping some of these pouches. I would like to just have some of these combinations. Another example, a few updates ago, before it was patched, you were able to put the long dress gloves along with the sleeveless hoodies, and there was like no clipping. I checked, but now you just can't do that. You can't even glitch it. The worst part is that even if you did glitch it, it just wouldn't save because the gloves have been made to like automatically change in certain cases. I just want some of these restrictions removed. Yeah, some of these items are going to clip, and I don't think there's much Rockstar can do about that other than just patch issues where they see them. But overall, I just want less restrictions on these customizations. I think that's it for this wish list, but two more things I would like to quickly mention that are relatively simple are the addition of extra storage slots for the hangar and the fixing of certain bugs like the helicopter passenger bug that forces you into first person. Those I didn't really go in depth about. I just wanted to tag them at the end of this video because they are important, but they're also pretty simple compared to some of the other stuff. So that's it for now. Let me know what you guys thought of my new editing style down in the comments. I really wanted to experiment and try something new with these videos and basically just try and make them more interesting. But that's it for now. Leave a like if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new. I'm out.